Hey guys, this is the Ekron Writer here, welcoming you to a new Mortal Kombat epic. And this one happens to be based off of Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, which I'll admit I wasn't too familiar with. This actually takes place 2 years after the events of Shinnok's Uprising. Well, actually, it doesn't take place 2 years, it actually takes place 1 year. 1 year after Shinnok's Uprising, but even though the game says it takes place a decade after, since the original tournament, because it was made in 2002, it actually takes place 10 years in the Netherrealm, because, time moves faster there. Anyway, at first I wasn't really into Deadly Alliance, because this is Mortal Kombat Vengeance, by the way. And this title, I feel, carries more impact than Deadly Alliance because Mortal Kombat Vengeance was actually the working title for Deadly Alliance because it was supposed to be Mortal Kombat 5. And I feel like it carries more weight because of what's about to happen later on here in this chapter. In the prologue, I mean. So, I just wanted to wing through this and get on with Deception because I wasn't a huge fan of the 3D games. I didn't grow up with it as much as many people did. And as much as I wanted to do Immortal to start out with, I can't because due to copyrights, of course. So let's get this thing going, shall we? Mortal Kombat Vengeance. After a stressful hiatus as well as my mind never shutting up, I'm back for another Mortal Kombat epic, based on Deadly Alliance, or as I call it, with the working title Vengeance. I was so disappointed that there was the Roman numeral 5 featured in the said title, yet the original title itself was rejected. It's no question it should be called as such, rather than the demonic duo from what is about to unfold. Also, this should be the chance to shine for a certain hero that has been left in the shadows and disrespected by the brutal developers for far too long. After all, according to Underdog, they said this was where his downfall started. Besides, revenge is served with a silver cold platter, especially one consisting of razor-sharp and fatal edges. Hint, hint. Anyway, the prologue. Only 1 year had passed since the Netherrealm War. The same heinous battle led by the fallen elder god Shinnok and his psychotic and demonic associate Quan Chi. Both the realms of Edenia and Earth enjoyed perpetual peace as the new champions consisting of the brotherly gods Raiden and Fusion led Liu Kang and his comrades to victory. With the two rightful deities attaining the title, no worries were flared involving Liu's eternal curse, which is a callback to Shaolin Monks Part 2. The Wuxi Academy stood as proud as ever, but remained as silent as a gentle breeze. The sun began to rise and the monks were just coming out to perform their usual daily tasks. Even the most prestigious of them all, the former champion of Earthrealm Liu Kang. He trod his way to the center ginormous platform, the eerie training arena. The Lei Tai Center platform was suspended by 5 massive statues of great masters that founded the Academy even before the Great Kung Lao's existence. The center practice area was used to evaluate tests as the teachers watched from the tower. Normally this would be the place where Liu Kang and his closest Shaolin brother, Kung Lao, would spar together. But today, it was only just the realm-renowned warrior. Meanwhile, the technical den was just as deathly silent as the arena. The Matokan shaman Nightwolf stretched out his weary muscles over one of the balconies and admiring the sunrise. His loyal pet wolf Kiba strolled beside him, let out a yawn while stretching his paws and maw filled with fangs. Kingfishers, magpies, and swallows chirped their usual morning songs, putting a smile on the Indian's face, knowing that life has begun to awaken. Always the nature lover. "Good morning, Nightwolf." He and Kiba saw a familiar friend emerge from the shadows in the arched exit. He let out a bow, bending over the waist. "Good morning to you too, Kung Lao," he replied in the same fashion. "Off for training, I see." Turned his hat by the rim. "Indeed I am. Liu Kang should be out already. I just wanted to say it before I should go." The shaman smirked. "All right, hurry along then. I'm always so surprised how you two maintain an early routine, with breakfast and all. Looks like us Matokans aren't the only traditional early risers." "So I see. I shall best him in battle, one of these days. Can't wait to see him fall over the likes of me." "Right. Good luck. Be careful out there." Nightwolf always liked Lau's witty persona, always willing to make a jest or a snark here and there, seemingly to ease a tense situation. They bowed to each other again, and for some reason during the short conversation, Kiba began to sniff Lau's boots. He then turned away, leaving Kiba with a sudden low growl. Nightwolf faced his pet, which he could have sworn his hairs were sticking up a notch. Concerned. "Kung Lao?" All he did was abruptly stop, before he faced the two with a gleam in his eyes and a wry grin, before he teleported away. After sniffing the crisp air, Kiba let out several wild barks that only the monks from several feet away can hear. Ooh, wonder what's happening. The sky brightened in robin's egg blue as Lao found his rival do some practice exercises. Some of Lu's katas even looked like he was swimming, yet still, Lao watched him closely without showing any smirks nor spatting any challenges. Lu was so deep into his stunts that he didn't mind Lao's presence. Lao figured he ignored him since he knew he'd show up. He didn't even pause nor made a greeting to him. Nevertheless, he just edged closer, slowly toward the occupied monk. All of a sudden his form began to grow in an eerie green light, only to reveal a 7-foot male wearing a dark olive green shirt with a black leather jacket, with his pants and boots matching it almost as opaque as his soul. His squinting eyes shined as his smile showed some white teeth that could have been sharpened into fangs, and his black crew cut glimmered. From his peripheral vision, Liu Kang spotted a towering shadow cover him. He was certain the silhouette didn't belong to Kung Lao. To confirm this, he turned, and it was none other than his arch nemesis, Shang Tsung! The heroic warrior let out a sharp, direct kick to the enemy's chest, yet he stood as steadfast as a tree. Liu then countered with several rapid punches, making the sorcerer back away a few inches, before he caught his outstretched leg. Liu's direct punches forced the demon to relieve it, then he blocked the shapeshifter's advances. Liu kept on grabbing an arm and hit Shang Tsung directly with swift punch and kick. He thought he'd have the advantage on his own like in the first tournament. However, there was another who stepped up to the ring. Quan Chi fired a green energy spear toward Liu's unsuspecting back. Liu's body just collapsed and he wasn't even wearing any armor to protect himself. His bare back took the severe blow. With the rear of his body sending excruciating pain, Liu slowly stood up, only to have Shang Tsung put him in a stranglehold. His two massive and strong arms wrapped around Liu's windpipe and forehead, preventing him from rising any further. He desperately tried to break free from the sorcerer's firm grip, closing in more around his neck. Losing oxygen, his weak hands were unable to remove them. That was until Shang twisted Liu's neck, snapped it to the left, and left his body limp. With that quick blow, Liu just fell to the hard terrain of the arena. The deadly alliance was successful in eliminating Liu Kang. As Quan Chi stepped forward to his associate, Shang spoke in an evil, vehement tone. "Your soul is mine." He rose his arms, making Lu's bright emerald soul rise out of his inactive vessel. Shang Tsung was about to seal his soul for himself, just as he did with the great Kung Lao, Chan Kang, and many other unfortunate victims. Suddenly, as Lu's essence was about to be held in Shang's evil clutches as his own valuable prize he always wanted, it almost instantly rocketed skyward, as if it was carried by a sudden updraft. Quan Chi screamed for the shapeshifter to chase after it through the heavens as it climbed faster. Needless to say, Shang Tsung was greatly enraged that his partner did absolutely nothing but watch the hunt. Using the souls in his possession, Shang unleashed them eerie skulls into the air. The streaks of souls were just too slow as they fell leagues behind from Lu's soul, almost as if it was being magnetically pulled upwards. Soon enough, Lu's energy continued to rocket through the clouds, and the other malicious souls were still on its tail. A deafening crash of thunder was heard when a volley of lightning shot down into Shang Tsung's raised arms. The electricity lit up his body like Sirius for a short while, knocking off his feet and leaving him stunned. Quan Chi just stood in alarm. "You imbecile! Raiden must have found us!" Some wild barks belonging to a wolf of sorts closed in fast and it tackled Quan Chi to the ground while the carnivore was tearing his limbs and armor. The blanched demon kicked him off, but seconds later he rose and witnessed a shaman chase after his pet. "Oh shit! Not Nightwolf again!" He just stopped short as he gazed upon his old enemies. Quan Chi! And Shang Tsung too! The former struggled to get back on his feet, and there was another bolt striking the duo. Inside an oriental kitchen filled with wooden cupboards and a brown ceiling with a lone bulb shining down and a lampshade, Kung Jin, Kung Lao, Aiko, and Jim's mom were having a hearty breakfast when they were startled by the sudden lightning storm as they beheld it through an arched window. They noticed the opaque tan-gray clouds with the strikes zapping the arena at the heart of the compound. They even made Aiko and the tween Jin cringe. Kung Lao overslept, which was a habit he thought he'd broken, but always tended to sneak up on him from time to time. He only managed to take some quick bites of his eggs when the storm broke. "I have never seen the likes of such a storm!" Aiko and Jin remained speechless, though Lao became suspicious as if those strikes belonged to... No, it's not a cataclysm. Could it be Master Raiden? Spectators could have sworn their hair stuck up from the backs of their necks. Lao observed, never flinching from the violent display. The bolts kept on licking around the same vicinity. It must be him. Something's afoot. I must go out there. Aiko, with me! Cardiokinetic screeched. Are you insane? I'm not going out in this storm. He's astrophobic. Aiko, the lightning is only striking the Wuxi arena. It must be Raiden. We are needed! Lao just urged his mate and even grabbed her by the hands as they ran out to the dry air. The claps were irritating their ears at times, yet Lao never hesitated, nor covered them. Kept on leading Aiko as they ran several feet following the brewing storm. The vicious duo was almost immobilized as they were nearly hit by the sudden enormous flash descend onto them. Only Nightwolf, who commanded his pet into him, realized it was Raiden, wielding his long staff. He and the shaman wound up with ascended arms, then shot some volleys of lightning, Raiden from his rod and Nightwolf from his battle axe. The targets were in dead center until they both dematerialized. Ah, they got away! Yes, but it was fortunate they never took Liu Kang! The Matoken crouched next to the lifeless monk, never responding as he shook his body and kept yelling for him to awaken. His eyes were still closed and his face pale with his slightly crooked neck. Nightwolf just sat next to him, shocked to the core, never minding the distant muffled calls from the other monks, not even the shrieks from Lao and Aiko. Lao's stamina and legs were a hell of a lot stronger than the rookies. Took her a few more minutes before she reached the arena. couple ran to the center of the tournament symbol as they surveyed the horror. It was unmistakable. Liu Kang is dead. What the fuck just happened? To quote Ian, Kung Lao, Aiko, and Nightwolf gather around Lu's empty vessel, mourning for the loss of their good friend, all except the Thunder God, who stood idly until something flashed from within his heavy white decorative robe. He dug in the right socket and took out a small golden dragon head. It looked as if it was crafted by the finest Chinese artisan. Its eyes began to lighten in a bright jade before he faced the saddened group, with Aiko breaking into tears. Lao and Nightwolf were just too upset to tender her cries. Aiko, Nightwolf, Kung Lao. The trio turned to their mentor with blushed faces and red eyes. They didn't faze him. Liu Kang is dead, but only his soul still remains. What? What are you talking about? Liu Kang's spirit is inside this golden dragon. Laid it out. I created this in case the time would come. As an elder god, I was able to conjure this dragon head, inspired by Shinnok. His amulet empowered him, created by the ancient black arts, and maintaining his lost strength once he was casted down to the netherrealm. In the heavens, I was unable to watch over Earth, and dreading for Liu Kang's life, I'd made this sacred relic. Somehow the former monk wasn't convinced. No! Liu Kang's spirit has been imprisoned by Shang Tsung. Ugh. What? Where am I? Why am I trapped in here? The three warriors were stupefied as they heard Liu Kang's voice emitting from this golden spiked head, letting out a rise and a fall. The emerald eyes began to flicker like small candles as he spoke. It's all right now. You are within the dragon amulet I had made, to encase your soul from our nemeses Shang Tsung and Quan Chi. What? Raiden? Raiden? Master? Is that you? I am not the sorcerer, Liu Kang. Kung Lao, Aiko, and Nightwolf are with us. Liu Kang, can you hear us? Can you see us? Yes! I can hear and see you, Kung Lao. Aiko and Nightwolf too. Even the Wuxi arena through those orb windows. Then it must be the eyes. Pointed them out. Well, at least it's roomy in here. Noticed he was inside a dark chamber with dark golden walls, with the front end shrinking. Well, anyway, Liu Kang, we must focus on the task at hand. Shang Tsung and Quan Chi are at large. This evil has two faces now. They have escaped from the Netherrealm, and I needed to strip away my powers as an Elder God to intervene with our adversaries, while the Elder Gods themselves would rather stand by and watch the ruination of Earth and its champion. I cannot stand idly by and watch this evil consume the world. We must gather all the able warriors across Earthrealm and Edenia. And to quote Raiden,
we must act now. We must stop this deadly alliance.
So, there you have it, guys. In the game, specifically in Kung Lao's profile, Deadly Alliance took place a decade after the events of Shinnok's invasion. However, I felt this was too much of a time skip. If anything, I'd rather have it be lesser than 5. I feel it's too much time, especially since not much has changed regarding the lives of the combatants. Believe me. I'm surprised that the Kombat kids had only been introduced in the NetherRealm games, and yet we don't see shit of development in the classic games. Not even Sonya and Cage, nor Liu and Kitana settling down. Please make it happen, MK12. I don't want to do the 5-year time skip either, since Mortal Kombat was on hiatus until 2002, from its dark age in 97. So, maybe 1 year. Also, I heavily concur with what Jack said in Shaolin Monks that time flows differently in each realm. And to back it up more, I concur with John Constantine when he said time stops in hell from Earth, and that 2 minutes in hell is a lifetime. So, there you have it. Aside from the intro of Deadly Alliance, there's the songs for that, but I can't play them. Actually, I found that song first in the history of Mortal Kombat. I thought it was Chester from Linkin Park, even though it was released Hybrid Theory and Reanimation at the time of the game's release. I'm glad with the Mortal Kombat Wiki mentioned the lost treasure. I hope you guys appreciated that little plot twist. Unlike the game, Lu's spirit wasn't stolen by Shang, nor imprisoned as an undead soldier, but rather encased in a dragon amulet and saved by Raiden. Believe me, Raiden should be more active and caring with his followers. I always wanted the Thunder God to be preemptive and compassionate to his compatriots, not be neglected like he was in the Netherrealm games. I'm sure as an Elder God he can have the same abilities as Shinnok, creating his own relic. I got something good planned for Lu in a conjunction with Kung Lao. You'll see. For once, he will not be alone avenging his Shaolin brother's death. So there you have it, guys. Here's the prologue. Next time, we shall dive into the first chapter, and I got something special planned for the monks. Until then, I'm the MK Khronology signing out, and I'll see you all in part 1.